and welcome to a new video. Today I'm super excited because I am finally packing for my big trip. If you guys remember when I told you guys that I was going to start traveling, I also told you guys that I was going to be traveling for a long time in each country. I'm not the type of person to want to just go for a week. I don't think I would be able to do this around the world type of trip because it's just not me. So that is finally starting because I'm going to South Korea for the next 3 months. Technically, I will only be out and about for 2.5 months because of the 2-week quarantine. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna be living there and experiencing what life is like there. I'm super excited because I wanted to go to Korea for a long time. In fact, I was supposed to go last year, but then it got canceled because of COVID. But even though I'm really excited, I also kind of didn't want to go because I didn't want to go there until I was ready to learn the language. As you guys know, I'm currently learning Chinese and I don't want to learn 2 languages at a time. I know it's totally possible, but it is a fact that if you learn more than 1 language at a time, you're just gonna go slower at it. You're not gonna achieve fluency at the speed that you might want to in both languages. So I'd rather just focus on Chinese. So I'm going to Korea and I'm not gonna go to learn the language, not this time. But I'm still super excited, and yeah, I wanted to make this video. So this video is just gonna be of me traveling to Korea and all the things that I'm doing to get ready, just because in the process of getting ready for Korea, I watched tons of videos of people traveling to Korea. And of course, every single person has their own specific situation. Like some people have family in Korea, some people are going for study, some people are going for business. Like everybody has their own reason. And so it never hurts to put another video out there where I'm explaining my reasons to go to Korea and what I have done to get in, because for every single person, it's different. Like for example, if you're going for education, business, or humanitarian reason, from what I read, if you're vaccinated, you can ask for a quarantine exception and then you don't have to do quarantine. But in my case, for example, I'm vaccinated, but I cannot do that because I'm just going for tourism. So this video is for any of you who are just trying to go for tourism for the 3 months that you get an exception for. By the way, check if your country is eligible because not all countries that were previously allowed to get a visa exception are still eligible. So yeah, make sure to check that beforehand. But yeah, I'm just gonna give you guys a little overview of what I am doing to get ready. First thing I did, yesterday I went and got a COVID test, PCR test. You have to get PCR, don't get a rapid test. I've seen people on YouTube make that mistake. And so yeah, I went and got that and it says within 72 hours of departure. I always overthink these kinds of things, so I'm not sure if departure means departure from my country or the last departure before going into Korea. So just in case, I got a COVID test that is going to be valid for both. I calculated the hour and I'm making sure that the COVID test that I took, the sample was extracted within 72 hours of my last flight before going to Korea. I don't know what the real requirement is, but hopefully that works. Luckily, I'm close enough to Korea that I can do that. If you live really far, because of the travel hours, you might not make it into that time slot. Anyway, so I went and got that yesterday. Oh, was it yesterday? It was the day before yesterday, on Friday. And then that afternoon, I got my results back and they were negative, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't be packing right now. And then yesterday I spent the whole day packing and yeah, it took me a long time. So this is what my current situation looks like. So I have 1 medium check-in bag, my backpack, which is my carry-on, and then I have another backpack, green backpack, which is my personal item. And originally when I started deciding that I was gonna like travel and live around the world, I was going to only travel in the backpack. And I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. Like I get that if you're moving around quickly, like if you're doing the around the world in 1 year type of trip, then you should take a backpack. Because I'm traveling long-term to each place, why not just bring a suitcase? So this is my check-in bag. Everybody who's staying in quarantine says that you should bring food just in case the portion sizes are too small or you don't like the food or it's not warm, because some people say that the food is not warm when it gets there. So just in case I have any issues with the food, I have some crackers, and then I also have tuna, mayo, and that's because I like having crackers with tuna and mayo. And then I have some nuts. So yeah, that is my packing situation. Right now it is 11, oops, I have to leave soon. It is 11:57, I'm supposed to leave at 12. My flight is at 3:55, but I have to first go to a copy store to print out the documents that I'm bringing with me. Normally I just bring things on my phone, but from what I saw in videos, Korea likes that you print things out. So I'm gonna print out my PCR test, and then from there, I'm going to head to the airport. I made it through. So nerve-wracking. Not gonna lie, all the way until I got to my quarantine hotel in Korea, I was actually super unsure about whether I'd be allowed to go into Korea, even though I had looked through all the requirements a million times. But after checking into my first flight and that going well, and then boarding onto my first flight, I felt super relieved.
Only inflate your life jacket after leaving the aircraft by pulling 2 red bolts sharply downwards.
My first and only stop was in Qatar, and the weather was so freaking hot and humid that this happened to my glasses as well as to the shuttle bus window. Anyway, beside that, in this airport, I took advantage of my last hours of freedom before quarantine to walk around and look at shops, and I also bought some more snacks for quarantine because I was still panicked about that. Even though I'm not learning Korean, I took some time to learn the Korean alphabet before this trip because in Nepal, a lot of the signs on shops used Nepali alphabet to write words that were actually in English, so being able to read it was actually very helpful. So I thought maybe it would be the same for Korea, but we'll see. Oh, and on this flight, they give you all the documents that you need in order to enter Korea. Okay, so now for the interesting part, I'm going to explain as best as I can remember what the entrance process was like. The very first stop after landing was this post where I got a temperature check while waiting in line, and actually on the airplane, I made sure to take off my sweatshirt a while before landing so that I wouldn't get a high temperature because of that. Some people mentioned that on YouTube. Oh, and here's proof of the fact that Koreans want you to have everything printed out. This lady took these guys out of the line to go print out their COVID test. Anyways, once I got to the front of the line, I believe the lady checked my COVID test, which was all good, and I'm honestly not sure if she checked the other documents I gave her, but I still just handed her everything because I was not sure. And then she returned all of my documents back and gave me this paper to read with information that I pretty much already knew. The next stop was the desk where they check your Korean contact. They will check your quarantine location and call the person that you listed on your documents. So I was actually really lucky with this. First of all, I had a Korean friend who had coincidentally come to Korea 2 days before me, so I asked her if I could use her number as my contact. And second of all, I hadn't reserved an Airbnb yet because I was worried that I wouldn't be allowed into Korea and that I would lose my money. So the people here told me that I could list my friend's address as my living address. So I did that and everything went well. One thing to note is that apart from being called from the airport, my friend also got a call from her city asking about me and where I was going to do my quarantine, to which she replied in the quarantine hotel, of course. But I'm letting you guys know so that whoever you choose as your contact, make sure they know about your travel plans. Finally, after all this, I reached passport control, and here they sent me to a nearby office where I couldn't film, but then they asked me some questions about my trip, and then they gave me this red tag, which means that I have to go to quarantine hotel. Then, after grabbing my checked luggage and heading out to arrivals, I was told to go to a designated area for people going to quarantine hotel. And this place was right next to the booth where you can pick up any SIMs or portable Wi-Fis that you've ordered online, which I had done a couple days before because I was worried that the Wi-Fi at the hotel wouldn't be very good. So after asking for permission, I was allowed to go pick that up. And I was also allowed to go to the nearby snack shop where I bought more snacks for quarantine because I was still worried that I didn't have enough. After a while, they took us all to another area with benches, and this is where we waited for the bus that would take us to the hotel. And the funny thing about this place is that there was a sign that said, "We're not allowed to consume anything except water." Anyways, again, after a while, and by the way, at this point, I had been at the airport for 4.5 hours, but finally they took us all to the bus, which was this colorful bus that had toilet paper hanging off the ceiling for some reason. And from the looks of this bus, I was kind of worried about the hotel they'd be taking us to, but fortunately it was a Grand Hyatt, so that was a big relief. Once inside the hotel, they took us to the lobby and sat us at these tables where we had to fill out the hotel paperwork and read some documents. They also made us uninstall the app that we had installed at the airport and install a hotel quarantine one. We also received this quarantine kit, which included 14 plastic bags for garbage and then a box with a thermometer, sanitizer, and masks. Then, once it was my turn, I head over to the desk where I paid $1,500 for 14 days. Actually, I got a really good deal. It was on the lower end of the price range. And then I was sent over to take a PCR test. It was very painful. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited because one of the things I saw that I hated from other people's quarantine hotels was that they had 2 beds and one of them was like unused and without sheets and the other one was for them to use. I felt like that was like a waste of space because you have a whole bed there that could be removed and have more space to do things. And then I come here and this is just, first of all, the room is huge. I have 1 bed only and it's a double bed. I have a desk where I can work. I even have this like place to sit. Let's check out the bathroom. The bathroom is huge and I've got a bathtub. This is definitely more than I expected. Oh, and the views, it's dark outside, but these are the views. Looks like they have a swimming pool, which I can't go to obviously, but not bad. Really nice, and I'm really up high, as you guys can see. I'm on the 11th floor. There's only 1 floor above me. Okay, and this is the snack bag they prepared for us. It's got noodles, juice, this kind of like chocolate filled balls, and then I have drinks, I guess. Oops, more dessert, more drinks. Good, almonds, I like this. Water and chocolates. So that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along this super interesting trip, and I will see you guys next time.